offered him 250. Now he came back to tell me that he want 220. Now I told him that that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna go find another deal. And it was just like he's like, no man, 250. And I'm like 220. And he telling me like, what's going on here? And I couldn't find out what happened. So in the end, there's just no deal.
Oh, that was
How did,
beautiful.
how did I do?
Oh, that was gorgeous. If we're peaking, by the way, folks, let us know. I will adjust things. I'm not as audio savvy as
I
my
can see
friend
this.
Ryan here.
I'm gonna go like I'm just gonna balance myself out on your
Sorry,
camera.
yeah.
So,
I'm literally screen capping his camera. So,
yeah.
so,
Greg, we got it sorted. We got it sorted. After hours chat, Greg got his stuff sorted.
yeah.
It was the cat that bit the cable, I
Yeah,
think.
no, the cat bit the Cat 5, bro. That's what it
Yeah.
was. the only explanation. And my Wi-Fi works very well. I'm streaming right now, like 4,500 kilobits on Wi-Fi because my wired connection was trash. But it's all coming from the same modem, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's like you said, it's got to be a cable or it might be my switch, but I don't know. The switch is just there, so I don't understand.
Cat damaged the cable, dude. I've had it before. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks because I like stuff these cables underneath the carpet, so it's gonna be a pain to pull back up. Anyway, this is a Ask Us Anything live stream. You guys know how these work if you've been to Science Studio before. We answer any question that we think is worth answering, and if we have time, we will get to as many as possible. So if you got a question, it doesn't have to even pertain to tech. If you don't want it to be, although I recommend that you do keep it in tech because that's usually what we're good at talking about. You can go ahead and ask it in the chat, and we are both watching it. We're watching it like hawks. So give us your Q's, and we'll give you the A's. That was really
That's
weird.
it.
That was really weird.
That was good, man. That was good. Hey, people want you to do the Bogan accent now because I started off with that real strong get her down.
All right, here's a good question. I'll do it in the Bogan accent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the good guy here wants to know, I've always had a question, bro. How tall are you? Well, I've got to say, I'm not too tall. I'm about, how do you say it in Aussie? It's meters, right? I don't know meters, but
No, we use the American like 5. I'm 5'10".
Oh, thank God.
You're about
Okay,
the same as
all
me.
right. So yeah, I'm about 5'9", 5'10". I think Brian's like a little hair taller than I am. But with tall shoes on, then we're pretty much equal. So I make sure to wear tall shoes when I'm around Brian. Anyway, okay, I'm done with that now.
I wear Nikes, dude. I wear Nikes.
I wear Nikes too. Yeah, actually, I bought my last pair in Taiwan. Yeah.
Yeah, how good are Nikes, man? They're good shoes. Yeah, I don't go with anything else because like I started buying these other brands in the past, and the soles come away from the shoe, and it's so frustrating, man.
Cheap, yeah. That's just they're cheap. They just glue them together, and they hope that they last long enough. And most people are telling me that was a British accent. I'm sorry, that was the best I could do. Oh my god.
That's why I love it, dude. It does sound good.
Looks like Matt there. Matthew likes your Jar Jar cup.
Hey man, cheers.
Right.
Yeah, what's with it, dude? Jar Jar for the win. So.
Dude, I need something I need like a prop like that I can lean on. That's so cool.
Yeah, people, the critics of 1, 2, and 3, they sort of have gone into the shadows now after 7 and 8 have been released. And now people are praising Jar Jar. They're like, damn, if that was as bad as it got, please bring it back. Hey, Jar Jar has always been okay with me, man. I've never had a problem with Jar Jar.
How would you feel about them having like a full-on dedicated video to Jar Jar? Yeah, like they got the solo coming out. Is it for real? Is it serious?
Oh no, my build will be Jar Jar. I'm sorry about that.
No, if they actually did a full-on movie on Jar Jar, I would watch that. The solo one, I don't care. Like they've been stretching out the Star Wars trilogy into 6 series, and then they stretched it even more now. Recently, it's just, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not really my cup of tea. What's a good AMD processor to purchase right now? Blaine, whichever one you think fits the bill. In terms of price, if you think $200 is all you want to spend on the CPU, then you get 1600, 2600. I recommend staying second gen unless you can get a 7 series first gen for dirt cheap, which every now and then you might get lucky.
Okay, Michael Highlander, he's wrote a massive post. I'm gonna have to like read through it and then I'll give you the answer. It's huge. But yeah, we'll continue the show and I'll give you an answer. Sorry, man. So yeah, what's the questions about? Sorry, as well. I'm gonna balance all this out.
Oh, I thought you were gonna answer the question right now.
I'm gonna take like a couple of minutes to read it. It's huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's given us he's donated $5.
Oh,
Thanks,
look at
man.
that
Okay,
champ! What
that's
a
it.
trooper. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, he's awesome, man. He's follows us on Twitter and he's constantly active in the comments and stuff.
That's cool. Is he in the Discord
Yeah,
server too?
I hope so. I
Discord
think
link
he
is in
is.
the
Yeah.
description. So if you guys aren't in the Discord server, it's free. You don't got to pay a single dime, and you guys can chat with us one on one. Let's see here. Kevin, I am running a 3570K, okay, with 8 gigs of RAM and a 660. I have noticed it's starting to have issues running newer games. Do I need to upgrade? Well, I think you answered your own question there. If you notice it's having issues, probably it's time you need to upgrade. If you're asking what you need to upgrade, what do you think? 3570 is not that. I would say upgrade the graphics card first, right? Or do you think you should upgrade platforms and just call it a day? What do you think, Brian?
I'd upgrade platforms at the moment and then wait till those cheap cards come up for sale.
Okay. So
Yeah,
stick
they're
with
gonna
the
be
660.
getting cheap, man. I just mark my words. They're gonna be getting cheap. If they're not gonna be getting cheap, I'll grow an '80s rock haircut. So it doesn't matter. I'm probably gonna grow one anyway.
What is it? What is it with people asking for blood type? I feel like that's like an inside joke that I'm not aware of.
Dude, I'm
I
O
see that all the
negative, man.
time.
That rare one that you hear about, I'm like that one.
O
That's weird.
negative is the common
Yeah.
one, isn't it? Isn't that like the
Is it?
universal?
Oh.
You're like the universal donor or something like that?
It's the universal donor, but it's rare, isn't it? Like 5% or less or something.
Oh, maybe. I thought O was like 70 something percent. It might be the difference between O negative and positive. I think I'm like AB. Something weird.
Christo, yes, you do. You pull them off and then you can reflash them with SPI flasher. That's how you, if they're locked, you flash them that way. So there are people doing, the craziest thing I saw on the Discord last night, B150 motherboard, 8400 working with DDR3 memory. Are you kidding me? Super budget motherboard, DDR3 and 8400. That is like got my appeal and my curiosity really struck for budget for value for money. Because you can pick up B150s really like. And the thing is, you have to be able to program. You have to get the one with the one that you can pull out the BIOS chip with, because life's gonna be much easier. You can get the jaws and waste your time from AliExpress putting the jaws on and reprogramming it, but I'm not that level yet. So, I mean, I usually recommend stuff I can do. Like, yeah, I can't do the jaws stuff yet, man. That's like, and then people are like, dude, solder off the chip and then reprogram it. And so I'm like, dude, whoa, no, I'm not going there, man. Have you seen how bad my soldering is already? If I tried to put a soldering iron on the board, I'd literally put a hole in it and then be a trace gone.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, I know my weaknesses.
BSC asks, what do you do actually for a daily job? I pretty much do this in school. What do you do, Brian? You do this full time, right?
Yeah, man, do it full time, dude. But with all the just all the little bits here and there, like I do the used hustle, I do the videos, do the AdSense, people supporting us on Patreon. Hey, I get by, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
Now like it was tough, like when I started off, just when I got back to Australia, it was tough. Now it's sort of getting okay. I am working a lot longer hours than a typical job, but it's still get by, and I love doing this. It's really is good. You hear us whinging about YouTube and stuff and like the actual platform sometimes, but the actual job itself is amazing.
Getting to be your boss is like you can't you can't really replace that. I mean, I know, like, with me personally, the degrees I've gotten, I know I could probably find a job that would eventually pay more than I get paid now. Like, I don't get paid very much now. I think at some point I want to just do a full-on, like, disclosure of how much I make a year, because I feel like people think we make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they would be surprised to find out how much less we actually do make than that. But, yeah, it's just something that I enjoy doing more than I dislike the money. Because it's not like we make tons of money here. We just do it because it's getting to be your own boss is really fun. No one yells at you. By the way, I see my cousin Caitlin. I see you in the chat. How's it going? What are you doing up at? Well, you're in Eastern time, so that's 2:30 a.m. Tech Yes City, you Aussie. You just got called out by Try Hard Rice.
Yeah, I'm an Aussie. Before the show started, I was doing this down there. We got this, so everyone told I just and get it done.
It's not bad, dude. Where I live, man, that's like commonplace. It's not bad. Matthew asked what our audio setups are like. So He's asking about if it's USB or XLR. So mine's XLR. I know Brian's is too. Brian's audio game's better than mine. I just have a little mixer
B1 with
here
a
and
compressor. So I
B1.
got the B1 with a
Okay.
compressor, and I put the shield on to drop the treble just a little bit.
Yep.
Like people say, it sounds amazing, especially for the money I spent on this. This is a mic that costs not even $100. The compressor costs $20 in Japan. I mean, since then they have gone up a lot in value. People understand how good those Roland, the 25EX interfaces are. And yeah, like it's really so good for the money. The compressor really fattens up your voice and gives you that sort of easy listening feel if you're on the listening end. And you just tune in whatever you're doing, whether you're AFK or you're just doing something else, you can tune into the show, and it's just really easy on your ears. Really want to get a good compressor, and that's the UA25X, I think it's called. It's just a gold mine of an audio interface. And I told like companies like Creative and stuff, I said, you guys want to sell your audio interfaces, put a compressor on board, because that's what the average streamer would definitely want. And I don't see many people doing that. Highlander, thanks again, dude. I'm almost through the post. Greg, you got to take over for a little bit.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I see. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm using a B2 right now. Now I don't sound as crisp as Brian does because I'm much further away from my mic than he is. I tend to use it more or less just for like it's not a studio vocational mic. It's just more of like a convenience mic in that sense, just because when I film regular videos, I use these as well. I have one on a stand back there. Eventually, though, when I get into my own place, I want to have a mic that drops down from the ceiling like a professional, and then it'll sound much better. Let's see. Do either of you have a fix for getting 5.1 speakers to work under Windows 10? Dude, I've had that issue. I know exactly what you're going through. It sucks. I know like the only way to get around that really is to like try to trick it into 5.1 by changing the effects on your sounds tab, and that's a pain because then the music sounds like trash. Yeah, trying to get true 5.1 is a royal pain. Really, all you're gonna have is stereo, with the exception of gameplay and like certain games that actually push 5.1. Because I'm pretty sure Windows 10 like native audio pushed through the operating system is stereo. I don't think it natively splits. That's really the root of the issue. So, yeah, that's really all I know about that.
5.1 Logitech Z, what's the Z906, is it? That's a beautiful sound system.
I was going to say, yeah, you have to have an external interface for that, or like a sound card. Yeah, like coming out of your motherboard, I don't know. I feel like when you have a motherboard that says, oh, 7.1 capable, but then you have an operating system that prevents you from running 7.1, like true 7.1, right? Like, I don't know.
Thanks, Walter.
Yeah.
So Z906, man, it's like the king for a hermit and a gamer. It's so good, man. It turns this place here into like a nightclub, and it didn't even break the bank. It was like 300 Aussie or something, man. It's such a good sound system for the money. Logitech just nailed it. I just read through Michael's post, man. Thanks so much, dude. It almost brought me to tears on live stream. He's basically a vet, and he just loves the content I do around the channel, man. And that's the thanks, dude. Like, Michael, you're the kind of viewer I love, man. You just love the content. It's what I do is unique and it's different, and I love doing it. Not just because it's different, but it's what I love doing. I love bringing restored potatoes up. I love doing that. Of course, just doing that on my channel, it's not that profitable. So I do the new stuff. I do mix it in, and it's just so good. Like he was saying as well. As I recall, he said Steve at Hardware Unboxed thought we were nuts. So I last year, I thought Intel was snappier. This was going back last year. I said this stuff about the snappiness. And Steve said it was all in my head. I was just, he actually got pretty angry at me. And, and Michael agreed. He said, dude, you're right. There's something different. You can feel it. And he said he's the most snappiest CPU he's felt is the 6700K overclocked really high. And that's because it's 4 cores, 8 threads. It's actually will be lower latency than a 6-core 8-threaded 6-core 12-thread and an 8-core, the upcoming 8-core from Intel. So yeah, the less cores, the even more snappy it's going to be. I personally haven't noticed the difference between 4-core and 6-core on the Intel side. That's getting to really, really intense levels of difference, but it's there, And he said he agrees the 2700X is different to the 1700X. He can feel that difference, and it's crazy. He agrees, and it's like that snappiness thing that I've been talking about. It's there.
He's after an X79 board. He reckons it's impossible to get it in the US. So X79's really hard to get in the US, are they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like overpriced, man. Like $300 for
Yeah,
an
and the
X79.
reason is because they're like you get. This is what I mean, I'm getting. I'm doing it. I'm not going to give it away too much, but yeah, I'm doing something with X79, and there's a big reason for that. I'm going to do a couple of videos why X79 is still popular, and that's mainly because of DDR3. And it's just, yeah, there's a few different things going on, but at the end of the day, guys, if you enjoy like the different content we do, then just thanks so much. Just thanks for watching. We've got the options there to go sponsor and support us in Patreon, but at the end of the day, yeah, we just do this because we love it. And I teamed up with Greg, especially after Tech Deals dropped off without even just saying anything at all, which I thought was pretty rude. Yeah, I mean, Greg sort of picked up the pieces, and I've met with Greg in the past. He's a real stand-up dude. And that's sort of, for me, just like getting relationships, just having like, Michael understands what I'm about. And I'm sure if me and Michael went up in real life, it'd be like just beers, man, and straight talking tech. It'd be, for me, the personal always goes before the business. I don't know. And if I don't work with people on the personal side, I won't work with them in business either. It's a weird thing, man. Some people are the other way around, and that's who you are.
Yeah, and some people can separate it. Like they can keep business and personal stuff separate, and then that's how they roll, right? So they're going to be complete jerks, right, in the business side because they're cutthroat, they're rude to everybody because they're only worried about getting ahead. And then you have, the other side of this guy, and when he's back home with his family, with his friends, whatever, and he's two different people. And some people, I don't know. To me, like to be able to separate it like that, you've got to be almost psychopathic. Like you've got to be able to just like turn it on and off. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I would even want to do it if I could because it would just be confusing and overwhelming. I don't know.
You will never understand it either. You can't put yourself in someone else's head.
Right.
Because all our brains are wired up differently, and especially from when we grow up from a young age.
Yeah.
Everything we do, like apparently our brains develop as well due to environmental factors. Like, people who play the violin get a notch on their brain. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Like, yeah, apparently people who play like the piano and violin or something, they get like a notch on their brain. And Einstein had that notch as well. So isn't that weird? It's just like so many weird things in science that happen.
Wow.
So I knew this question would come up. Colatech says, what happened between you and Hardware Unboxed? I'm not going to talk about it publicly. So if you want answers, you can ask Steve. That's up for him to answer for you. But yeah, we just don't really talk anymore. I mean, I respect him. I love his work. I love his channel. But yeah, I mean, good on him. Good luck to him. But what happened is it's probably nothing really in the grand scheme of things, but I took it pretty personal. So anyway.
We have a... Let's see, question from Heated Gamer. I want to know what you think about this too, Brian. So that's Science Studio. Should I get a Ryzen 7 1700 with a B350 motherboard and 16 gigs of RAM, or a 2600 with X470 and 8 gigs of RAM? So this is like back to what we were talking about, right? So in Brian's live stream, you guys, it's going to be archived probably about now. So if you want to go watch that, I recommend you do because we talk about this to an extent. Brian and I were debating the viability of Ryzen 1 versus Ryzen 2 if the Ryzen 7 series was priced much cheaper than second-gen Ryzen ones. And I find this to be a perfect place to talk about it because you guys can ask us whatever you want about this stuff, and I think this will lead to more questions from you guys. But Brian and I can both attest to the snappiness and the improvements all across the board, right, from Ryzen 2's perspective, especially when it comes to RAM, timings, frequency. It's just... XMP profile, you can enable it right away, and it's a gold. With Ryzen 1, I could never do that. Every motherboard I had, any BIOS I had, any RAM kit I used, I could never enable XMP, and I hate that because I can just do it on Intel and it's no big deal, right? But the ring bus is separate, right, from memory frequency, and the Infinity Fabric isn't, and that's one of the big reasons why it's stubborn. But the question is, if you can get Ryzen 7 1700 for $200, or Ryzen 7, or the second gen Ryzen 5 2600 for the same price, which one should you get? And in my eyes, I see the extra cores as more beneficial in the long run. Brian, how do you see it?
I see. It depends on the software, man. Like, do Adobe, because I'm locked on Adobe, dude. I can't change. Like, I try changing.
Same.
I'm too used to it. And guys like you and me, we're strapped for time. I don't have time to go out and learn a new platform for editing videos. I just don't have time. So for me, it's like Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm locked into their service. They've got me on my knees. Can't do anything. So for me, it's like if they optimize it for more cores, more threads, and especially Photoshop and other things, I mean, I'd be keen. But like I said to you behind the scenes, I think that 8-core, 16-threaded Intel chip coming up is going to be really good. It's going to be a little bit extra of what already works really well. So that's
right,
that.
But see, then you got to expect them to charge what $450 for that, right? Because they're charging $350 for the 6-core, and they're charging $250 for the 4-core. Or excuse me, they're charging $250 for the 6-core. Traditionally, they've charged $250 for the 4-core, but
if they charge $450 for it, that actually be pretty good.
But when seen in the context of the 2700X, I really don't think spending $150-ish more, plus potentially a new motherboard, right, to get the overclocks that you should expect from an A.
Exactly. 2700X is good too. 2700X is good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm just not seeing, like, if they price the 8-core at what they already priced the 8700K. I think you've got serious. I think that would be Intel just sticking it back to AMD, saying, "Okay, we can produce an 8-core CPU too, and you know what? We can price it around the price that you're pricing your 8-core. Oh, but the difference is you can overclock ours much higher." Like that to me would be just gold.
Mac D Drew, he said, "Any plans to visit the US again?" Of course. To be honest, you know me, I'm a deal hunter. I'm going to be honest with the audience. I'm a deal hunter. I'm going to wait until there's some event and I get sponsored to go there, and then I'll double down as a holiday and I'll do used price parts hunting. Everything I do in life is a deal, man. It's sad. Like I go down to the store and I get deals on sausage rolls when they're just sort of closing down the shop. Bang, 5 sausage rolls for $5. Hustle is in my blood and my life. It's like everything I do is a hustle. I even had one guy today on Gumtree like call me an a-hole because I knocked back his offer. Like it was pretty bad. The guy's like messages me, "Yo, I want to trade in my X58 board. I want to trade in 6 gigabytes of DDR3 and in a 990X Intel CPU." And I just messaged back, "Yo, I'll give you 180 Australian for it." And he's like, "Oh, how dare you," sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, that's what I would get all that gear for. I'd get an X58 motherboard for around $100. I picked up one for $80, a P6T. Got a 6-core 12-threaded. You can get that off AliExpress. X5675, amazing Xeon, like $50. And then 6 gigabytes of DDR2. It's 3. It's nothing. It's like, that's about what I would trade in. And my PCs on Gumtree are priced really well. You go out and find another guy bringing better value to the table to use PCs, they won't. So that's why, I mean, I'm hustling for deals, but I'm passing on those deals to people who buy my PCs. I don't care. It's fun. I love doing the content. As long as the content can keep flowing from that, that's what it's all about.
And and I mean, you have as the seller, you have that power, right? I mean, in a sense, you can kind of discriminate who you sell to because you know that those people are going to be loyal in the long run, right? So the way I see it, and I talked about this in my Craigslist video, the most recent one I posted, was like, if you're a seller and you have a certain price you want to sell something at, like that's your bottom dollar, right? Obviously, you don't want to put that as your bottom dollar publicly. You just have that in the back of your head and you price it a little higher on the ad. But the buyer wants to get the thing from you as cheap as possible. So he has a maximum price he's going to pay for it. You have a minimum price you're willing to let it go for, and you got to find the middle ground. But by no means should the seller be offended if somebody lowballs a seller, unless it's ridiculous and he's just messing with you. But the seller shouldn't, it goes both ways. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's just mutual. If you disagree, just move on. Don't waste time. That guy getting mad at you. He starts
having a go at me, man. I just point out his I replied pointing out his hypocrisies, and then I asked him a question: "Who's the a-hole?" You know what I mean? Like, so. Whatever, man.
That's good.
I to be honest, sometimes I do get a kick out of getting into arguments where I don't know.
Oh yeah, when you just sometimes they're entertaining.
Pointing out hypocrisies are really fun.
It's satisfying. It's a satisfying feeling.
Sadly.
Yeah, but I mean, being on both sides of that. I mean, like I've been on both sides. I'm sure you have too. Like just like knowing what it feels like, I think that's why we know it's so satisfying. Because if it happens to you, then you're like, okay, well, if I can do it again to somebody else, because you're going to be more cautious about it, right? You learn from it. So
Also, we got asked Colatex actually a pretty good question. Does it really mean anything when Intel and AMD drop support for older operating systems like Windows 7 to a gamer? It means a lot. It means that they got paid pretty well. Intel and AMD got paid from Microsoft quite well. That's what it means. And then it's news that goes unnoticed. But I notice it behind the scenes because I do work with that kind of thing. Like, you go to Computex and you go to the parties and you see all these things happening behind the scenes, where even a company like MSI get paid millions from Microsoft to push their software. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that the average person doesn't really hear about. But yeah, AMD and Intel dropping support for Windows 7 just means they got paid. That's all it means.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Money's always going to do the talking, always. And like, there's no other reason why they would. I mean, ask yourself, why else would they have done that, right? Like, what's the motivation that they have? Money is the motivation. It's the motivation.
And that's what I mean. Right now, at this very point, when I just pointed out that argument, where's the AMD fanboys that say, no, man, AMD wouldn't do that. They care about us. They love me. AMD cooks my breakfast. How dare they? They wouldn't drop Windows 7 support and get paid for it. No, they would. They're a publicly listed company. Of course they would. So it's just, that's like the biggest thing I have at the moment is I do like really objective videos. In the last one, I copped a bit of flack when I did the 1000 FPS analysis. People just saying I'm biased, I'm this and that. It's just from AMD fanboys. I seem to have a problem with it. But when I recommend AMD stuff, people who are Intel fanboys don't care. You know?
Yeah,
as long as you're keeping it objective.
The AMD, I would say there's a chunk of the AMD fan base is pretty radical. I mean, anything that's anti-AMD or anything that recommends Intel, basically that's the only other alternative for consumer PCs at this point, is just anti-consumer, right? That's like always the shout out, like, oh, you don't want competition. You've just been milking that Intel money, I guess, is what they like. I've never been paid a dime from it. I don't even have an Intel contact. Like, I don't like either. I have AMD contacts, believe it or not, but I don't have Intel contacts. So if my propensity is to keep my people that give me CPUs happy, which actually isn't Intel, it's a distributor, it's a company that works on behalf of Intel or AMD, excuse me. Then that would be my motive, but it's. It's just a little petty to assume that. Are they telling us we're drinking? Is that what they're thinking?
No. It's just craft beer and stuff.
Someone last time thought that.
So actually, you know what? On the weekend, you know what I tried, which I haven't tried before, JD and ginger ale, and it was so good. Has anyone tried that?
That sounds gross.
No, dude, I tried it. And it was pretty good, dude. Oh. No, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was smooth. It's just like the two blended to make this just really good mix. I don't know. We drinking a bit more of that.
Jack Daniels is like it's such a strong taste already. I think anything.
Oh, you don't like JD?
I don't like Jack. No. What? I don't like it.
I don't like JD. What are you doing there, Drake?
I remember last time. The last time, believe it or not, last time I had JD was when we were at the Corsair party last year, and you gave me a drink, and it was like right there next to the bar. You gave it to me, and it was dark, and I was like, okay, it's probably Jack Daniels, and it was one of those I just had to kind of chug through it because like I hate the taste. It's not the alcohol; it's just the taste of the drink overall. It's just too. I don't know.
Rock on. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. The first Computex I went to, that was bad, man. One of the videos I was like limping because my liver was that sore, dude. It was bad. Yeah. Yeah. It was bad. That was the first Computex. Second one I did, refrain because I didn't want to, have that experience again.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's see what products you got, and it was film. And I'm like grabbing my liver. Yeah. Here's the mic.
That was something that I ran into Paul on the show floor this year, and we talked for a couple minutes, and he said, he goes, I'm trying to cut back on the parties and just keep it business. And I was like, dude, like straight up, man, like that's what I want to be. I aspire to be that. It's when you get like Paul's, like
2017 might be topped.
It's not his first rodeo, so I think that'll be us eventually. Like we'll get We'll get a little older, a little wiser, and we'll look back and say, yeah.
I think everyone this year toned it down,
They
man, big
did,
time.
yeah. I noticed that there
Yeah.
weren't many, like, I don't know, there weren't as many, like, parties. You know, they were all, like, formal. Like, Corsair always has that, like, formal, like, elegant
Yeah.
kind of dinner. And a few other, like, the Crucial Party was the same way, you know. It was just kind of, like, chilled out, more professional. And I feel like that's kind of, like, the thing they're trying to go for now. It looks better from a PR standpoint, right, to have an elegant kind of party that serves like wine and champagne versus JD and ginger ale. Like
People say you need to get Dollar Shave Club as a sponsor. You should just send them an email, man. Yeah.
oh
We had
my
to do a
god,
good demo.
I would give you them close up macro shots of just the clean shave, man.
Opinions on Trump's Space Force. What is that?
You
What's
haven't heard
Trump's
of it? Yeah,
Space
Trump's
Force?
announcing a space force. It's like a legit thing. I mean, I watched his speech, and without getting too political here, like I feel like he was being serious about it. So like he wants a
Okay.
full on space force, man, like Space Federation, you know. So we're gonna have space cadets, like real ones.
No, I mean, look, I think he's turning the naysayers away. Like I remember we talked about it ages ago, and before your election started, he was out of all the candidates, he seemed to have the economy down pat, and that's the most important thing. But he's done some real dodgy stuff in his personal life, sure. But yeah, I mean, it looks like he's doing a good. The news here in Australia has shut up about him completely. You don't hear him on the news anymore.
It's a complete opposite
when he-
in Europe. In
When he
Europe,
first
it's like,
when he first got in, it was just trash talk Trump. Here, I just turned the TV off. I'm like, give the guy a chance, man. The people voted him in America. Give the guy a chance at least. And yeah, it looks like he's doing good, man. So
James asked if we're gangsters. I don't know why he asked.
I'm aspiring, dude.
Aspiring gangster, ending in an
I'm
A.
aspiring. Yeah.
Oh god, $1,300 PC build. Depends. I would go with $1,300. I would try to squeeze in like a Ryzen 5 2600, 16 gigs. You can get 16 gigs. Do you notice that 16 gigs of RAM now has dropped? At least in the States, it's actually used to be around 200, 250. You can get it for about 150, 160 now. So I mean that's still
is it
overpriced.
a gaming PC or just a PC? What are we doing?
That's
here?
what I'm saying.
That's the
Yeah,
main thing.
yeah, but anyway, have the RAM prices gone down in Australia at all? Have you noticed? The
Not really.
New market? Okay,
RAM's still getting fleeced. I mean, the retailers are going to be fleecing that as long as they can.
yeah.
Like, I think the RAM thing, it goes pretty deep, man. I think it's not just Samsung, Crucial, and Micro that will fix it. It's.
But they control 95% of the market. Roughly.
I think a lot of people were jumping on the train and fleecing that crap. There was but yeah, if 1300 gaming PC, it'd be like, for me, it'd be 8400 GTX 1080. 16 gigabytes of RAM, SSD, hard drive, decent power supply. You'd probably get it for cheaper than that, but that'd be like the perfect balance for a solid gaming PC, or a 1070 Ti if you could pick it up cheaper.
What's the delta between an 8400 and a 2600?
What do you mean the delta?
No, just
Like the
FPS
price?
delta.
Oh, the price difference?
No, the frame rate delta. I mean, because if you're looking at 6 cores locked, non-overclocked, and compare that to 6 cores, 12 threads overclocked, which I'll give Intel a little bit of credit there. Like AMD's overclocking potential, even Ryzen 2's perspective, is dim in comparison to Intel's. But I just feel like, I don't know. I'm still struggling to come to terms with the fact that the i5 should still. I know that it's a marginally better gamer. Like, I know that. But are you willing to say that the extra 4 or 5 FPS on 120 FPS gameplay justifies cutting you at your knees when it comes to multi-threading support?
Yeah, but what are you multi-threading? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but it's just like streaming anything. Like, dude, so many more people now are streaming. Even if you got no streamers or no people watching on your stream, like many people now are streaming.
You've got QuickSync support, man. You know how powerful that is. People are like, dude, your stream's looking so good. I'm using QuickSync to save the file.
Most people don't know how to even set that up. I mean, like they would never
setting.
know. Yeah, but they just plug and play. I mean, QuickSync. I mean, you have to have IGP enabled. Like most of the IGPs aren't even enabled in BIOSes. You have to manually go and do that. Most of the when I've had to do stuff with hardware acceleration with the IGPs and say 8700K, I've had to go into the BIOS manually and turn on Intel HD graphics.
I mean, bottom line is in Australia, mate. I know US has a massive like AMD cult following. In Australia, people just don't care. They buy what's best from them. Apparently, like the 8400 is the CPU that's selling here. Everyone wants an i5 8400. It's the most popular new sold CPU here at the moment. It's selling really well, dude. It's crazy how well that thing's selling.
I mean, I believe it, but I feel like it's just because Intel's been the only thing that they've known for a long time. So I mean, that's why Intel's such a huge following, right? That's all they can.
Dude, Ryzen's created some waves, man. Ryzen's created some big waves.
It certainly has. Here in the States, I think that I would be surprised if the i5 8400 was selling more than the R5 equivalent. I really would. Just because I don't know. It seems like so many people now are getting behind this like higher core count, higher just higher thread count race that we seem to be on. And to be frank, most people aren't going to utilize 12 threads. And even if they do, they're not going to know that they are. They're not going to see a difference on screen most of the time. So I think it just comes down to how it's marketed, how it's portrayed, how people like us portray those products. And I don't know. I think that the i5 has a more of a place now in the market because we do have things other than Z370. It was a bit stupid to recommend Z370 and an i5 8400. It made no sense. But now with B360 out, there's a place for it. I just think that place is very niche.
Yeah, I'm just telling you on the front lines, dude. Like everyone, they want an i7 or an i5. Like everyone I sell PCs to, they want an i5 or an i7, dude. It's like I haven't had one person ask me for a Ryzen CPU in their build yet. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, but aren't you selling mostly used components? I mean, back when AMD was relevant in 2008. Like before.
I know, but still, it's like, the Ryzen 5 1600, for example, made huge waves. And I liked that CPU as a great value proposition.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. Who knows? So. Okay, so streaming a game. I mean, yeah, I've got to do something about streaming anyway. I've got to do some benchmarks on it. And I'm not gonna that's gonna be the video in the pipeline that's gonna be later because there's just so much in the pipeline. But I want to look into streaming and seeing what the best sort of value for money setup is that people can get away with. Because I'm thinking with QuickSync, you could probably even get away with an 8100. That's how powerful QuickSync is. You know what I mean?
For what, video editing? For Premiere?
Not for Premiere, but like for streaming, right? I mean, how many people editing videos? Like, how many people? A lot of people want to stream, but like, could you get away with an 8100 for streaming, like 6 megabits per second, for example, with a GTX 1060?
I'm sure you could, but you can't play games while you're streaming. There's no, I mean.
Well, that's what I want to give it a go. I want to give it a shot. For me, every time I stream, is even if I got high-end gear, I always still look at that efficient option. I want to make sure that if something happens, like I pull up TweakTown or something that's just got so many ads getting plastered in my face, or a website like Tom's Hardware that just crashed before, that website seems to gone to crap. If you're not gonna, your stream's not gonna crash. You know what I mean? Because you've got that extra headroom there. But if you're like going near 100% on your stream, that's sort of like, whoa, you're bound for problems. Yeah, drop frames even.
4 cores though. I mean, 4 cores and that's it. Like that's like an old i5. Old i5s were fine for gaming, and to an extent they still are. But getting a new car, I mean, what, an i3 8100 now? What sells for 130, 140 US? So you could get a Ryzen 5 1400 4-core 8-thread CPU for around that price, and you can actually overclock that one.
So Coalition's pointing out the visual quality. It's not, you stream with NVNC, but you record with QuickSync. So the QuickSync's recording the stream archives in case you need it. You know what I mean? That's what any streamer is going to do, because if their stream drops out or whatever, they've got that backup there.
When you encode with QuickSync and Premiere, it's literally, I mean, you can't tell much of it, frankly. Like, it's something. I was talking with Dimitri from Hardware Canucks about this because he was one of the ones that brought it to my attention. And he was saying, because I asked him that specifically, I'm like, well, like, you're not using X.264. Do you notice a difference, like, in compression quality? How does it look after you've rendered it? And he held them side by side. I'll take his word for it. I don't trust that guy with any video editing, content creation advice. He straight up said he couldn't tell much of a difference at all. So
yeah, You have to be pixel peeping. Most
Yeah.
people watch YouTube on their smartphones or on small
Exactly.
screens or small, yeah. And so,
And even then,
yeah, I mean, yeah, well, those guys are like the content kings of quality, like video quality. So if they're using QuickSync, that's speaking big lengths for it. So,
right.
yeah. Anyway, who knows, guys? Questions? We want some. Everyone's like chatting. We want questions though, not just chat.
Give us some good content, folks.
Yeah, we need some good reactions.
People are saying that the chat is not scrolling, so let me fix that. Oh, sorry, I just completely
Okay.
blocked
Oh, you're not
you
seeing
off
it. I'm
everything.
seeing it. I'm watching the chat live, dude. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
it all.
but in the box, like in the window, they're saying it's not scrolling. Let me see.
Yeah.
Browser source. Okay, I'm gonna paste.
Oh yeah, the actual chat on the live.
It
Oh,
should
yeah,
be
it says
better now.
stop.
It should be good now. Yeah, it's working now.
Oh.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. I'm sorry that you had to watch that whole thing without
That bass. People like that juicy mic, man. You get right up to it. That's what condensers are all about.
Oh yeah, you like when I get really close to it, right? That gotta be right. So it's gotta cover
Shannon
my
says,
face.
"Show us. Hey, where is Pepsi? Yeah, where is Pepsi? Man,
Oh,
this new
she's
cat
probably
running around."
sleeping. I locked her out of this room because she'll just start chewing through cables and stuff, and yeah, I don't. It's just not worth it. She about tore through this chair, dude. Last time I had her in here, so.
That's awesome.
James,
Vertigear, not cat proof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I told Chris already. I'm like, Chris, I might ask you for another chair in the near future as a replacement because this is not gonna last very long. James Sco, which brands do you prefer for motherboard and graphics card? It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care. Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, those are my big three. The lenses, I have a lens video, couple of videos back. It's a camera guide, and it talks about the lenses I use. So go watch that video. It's quicker than how I would explain it here.
Motherboards. I mean, there's some good motherboards out there at the moment. GPUs, I'm usually Asus, Galax, or EVGA for GPUs.
Yeah, same. Yeah, EVGA
That's
is probably
the three.
EVGA is my big one. I think I like EVGA a lot. Asus is probably a close second, just off the top.
Well, they
of my
all come
head.
around the
MSIs,
same for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be much of a difference. I would say the quietest ones I've used in general have been. I really like how quiet EVGA cards are.
They're well built.
Yeah, they're really quiet.
Seraph asks, "Am I going to make a video?" Yeah, I'm going to make that video, man. I'm actually, waiting on the order to come in. Taking ages from overseas. I got to actually check the status. Hope it didn't get shipped back. So
Rusty, Greg, I need a 1080p 144 Hz monitor, 24, 27 inches, no G-Sync or FreeSync to replace the monitor. Any ideas? I would literally type in 1080p 144 Hz on Amazon. Restrict your size to 24, 27. Don't go any higher than 27. In most cases, you don't want a bigger monitor for gaming. And look for brands like LG, Acer, BenQ. That's where I would keep it, like in the realm of like known brands. Most of the time you're going to have better panels. You won't have as much backlight bleed, especially if you have an IPS display. The fair middle ground is going to be VA. And in my experience, like I've had better luck with backlight bleed and with dead pixels when it comes to VA panels. Even though they don't look as good as IPS, vertical alignment's that's like an easy middle ground, and you're going to pay less for it generally. So.
yeah, I reckon Asus do a great job on their VA panels with their color.
I've never had an Asus VA panel, not that I can think of.
Oh man, the 35-inch ultra wide is good, dude.
Really?
Get that thing, chuck it on cinema mode. It just looks gorgeous for games, dude.
Wow.
I've been just thinking about going hiatus and then just where's Brian Beard, like beer gut. He's just indulging with this 35-inch ultra wide. It's pretty good.
Wow.
Can you recommend Ryzen 2400G for streaming? Haven't tried it for streaming. I did some streaming benchmarks. I mean, it depends if you're using. Again, it comes down to what's your setup with streaming, and that's something I got to look into because, I always stream off the GPU's codec. The built-in encoder, and it serves me really well.
Yeah, I'm using NVENC.
Yeah. So you want to keep the load off your CPU. It's not like if you can utilize GPU encoding, it's so much more. There's so much more power available to the GPU than there is to the CPU. That's why GPU compute's just taking off. There's so much that's so much more potential.
Yeah, when you have thousands of cores versus 8 or 4,
Yeah.
right, to do the same thing. Parallel processing.
Use GTX 970 on new GTX 1060, same price, 1060 all the way.
Yep.
Um,
Do you guys use mechanical keyboards? What switches do you prefer?
Yep.
Those red switches? You just got red colors.
I now on stream silent switches using the Corsair Strafe. It's so good. This thing is nice. They do a good job of their silent switches. For personal use, it's the Rome, not the Roma G's, but similar from Onron. They're really nice to type on. Yeah, dude, those switches are really good.
Wow.
So yeah, you got to get some if you don't have them.
I've had Gatorons before, and
No, they're not good.
Oh, what's the other one? I don't remember. They were blues. It started with a K, I think, or something like that. But they were blue switches, really tactile. Actually, my first mechanical keyboard, fell in love with it, and I used it for about 6 months. And then I started getting review samples from companies, and they were all using MX. So I've been using MX for a long time. But there's something about the off-brand. I think it was Kale. Was it Kale Switcher or Kale? How do you say it?
Kales, yeah, they're just called Kales. They're called Kales.
That's what it was. They were Kale Blues, yeah. And I love, like, I don't know, there's something about Cherry MXs that just feel mushier. I don't know, it sounds really strange, but like the off-brand keys like Gatorons, Kales, all those, to me, those are more tactile. Even the brown switches just feel more responsive to me. I don't know how to explain. I can't use any scientific term to describe it. It's just a user experience, and I like those a little better, to be frank.
Try the Creative. It's the KO8, I think, the keyboard. Just try it, man. You got to try it. And it's, for me, it wasn't my favorite subjectively. It didn't feel the best, but objectively, it was the best keyboard I'm typing on. I make little mistakes. I type like a beast. Fast, like one of my friends came around the other day, and he's like, "Whoa, you dude, you type fast." And it's that keyboard is just boss, man. Something about those switches. They're responsive. They're forgiving. And they're the Omron switches on the keyboard. They've really, like, the Japanese have really programmed them things well. So, yeah.
Cool.
I'll Tech Therapy. Thanks, man. That's Ron. He's awesome.
What's up, Tech Therapy? Appreciate it.
He loves the strength.
Someone asked what headset this is. These are the Sennheiser 58 X58s. Yeah, on 58Xs. Whatever, same thing. I got these from Mass Drop. They asked me to do a review on them, and I actually might. We're going to do a couple promotional things with them in the future, but they sent these. They wanted me to test them out and see if I'd be willing to do a review on them. I think I'm going to, because these are actually... I just wasn't sure if I want to do a review on a headset that doesn't have a mic, right? Because like most people watch, they're gamers. So I'm not sure yet if that's going to be applicable. The video will probably get like 10,000 views, if that. Like, YouTube's been chopping us at the knees when it comes to views on those kinds of videos lately. So, I mean, frankly, I don't expect many people will just like check on YouTube for peripheral reviews, but I might do one just because I like the headset, crisp audio as usual from Sennheiser. So, what's up?
It's all right. You just you gotta get a bit more enthusiastic, man. You'll be like,
dude, it's because it's 2 a.m. I'm sorry, I'm trying.
We gotta get you down to the gym, get you on the cardio.
Oh yeah. I don't. If I do cardio, I used to run all the time. I used to run like in middle school. I was the county champion in the mile. I ran when I was 13 years old. I could run a mile in 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and then
that's good.
And then I stopped that. By the time I got to high school, I was like, screw this crap. I hated running. Like, it sucked. I just hated the feeling. I prefer sprinting, but I wasn't as fast as some of the kids on my track team. So, I always played soccer growing up, and I just kind of invested everything into that in high school. But I ran a lot. That's why I'm really skinny. Like, both of my brothers are pretty big. They're like 160, 170 pounds. But I'm like I think the most I've ever weighed is 155. And that was when I bulked heavy. My first year in college, I was jacked. And then I stopped doing it because I started the channel, I started the engineering program, and I lost all of it. I literally lost 20 pounds or so of straight muscle just because I stopped working out twice a day and eating 50 grams of protein every meal. So it was just so much work, dude. So much work to keep up. I couldn't do it.
We got asked about 60% keyboards. Yeah, they're great for traveling. for normal use, I prefer my full size keyboard. How about you?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. I don't like the numpad. I don't really use that much at all. Frankly, the only
Yeah.
time I do use it is when I'm like signing into Windows because it's just more convenient to reach there instead of on top for when I enter my PIN and whatever. But yeah, I don't mind it. 60% is fine for most things, I would say.
Yeah, there we go. All right, man. Maybe
Yeah,
might
let's
get
do
you-
like a couple
get you-
more here. Let's like
do a couple more and get you to sleep, dude. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Poor Greg. Yeah, next time, guys. Next time the stream will be on fire. It'll be.
Oh yeah,
Just,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
both coming.
lit.
Yeah, both coming off Computex this month has been hard to get through. After that, it was heavy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. And Brian was really patient. You guys were all patient with me. I was trying to figure out the freaking internet problem that I was having at 1 a.m. So I still don't know what that was. Anyway, let's get a couple PC questions in here. Stuff I feel like we can both pitch in, and we'll call it a night or a day depending on where you live on the planet. Give us something good, something juicy that Brian and I can both disagree on.
soccer. Yeah, what position you played, man?
I was a center forward, and then I switched to a left
nice.
forward after my second year in high school. So,
Okay.
Greg needs to cuddle with Pepsi. I don't know where she is, but I'm pretty sure she's sleeping already. I'd prefer to stay that way. She always wakes us up in the middle of the night. Good stuff. We need some good stuff, folks. Give us some questions to end this stream. What's up?
No, that's just or we can just end the stream.
Yeah, we'll just end the stream. I mean, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm just going.
See you guys. But yeah. Well. Yeah.
Here's one here.
So.
He was asking about HDMI. It said, do you guys think people should hold off on 4K monitors till HDMI 2.1 or DisplayPort 1.5 is out for the highest hertz rates? What does DisplayPort max out at? Doesn't it do 4K 120? Or is it 4K 60?
Maybe not. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I just know that 4K anyway is more intense on your GPU from like a competitive gaming standpoint as well.
Yeah.
I believe. I haven't researched it too much, but 120 hertz 4K.
It is supported. It's supported.
Well, it's not really one thing that's discussed a whole lot. But is it practical?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you need the high refresh rates, you're probably like a Snapmaster King.
Yeah, dude, just picture the resources required to push that.
Exactly. So you're probably like a Snapmaster King already, and you're probably going to be better off suited on a 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of like when you start to go up at those resolutions.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, just get a lower resolution and sit closer to your monitor.
The DisplayPort.
And that's probably why they're scared to push it, because it's going to be really expensive. You're going to have so much money to drop on graphics cards.
Yeah.
And you need all this crap. It's taking forever.
Yeah.
And I think if you're into an exciting experience, I think the 21:9 3440 ultra wide is just so good at 100 hertz. It's nice. It's enjoyable. Then if you're into competitive gaming, you might want to go 240 hertz, 1080p. So like, where does 4K sort of fit in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thinking. Anyway, I mean, I'm not going to be to be honest, like if people are waiting out for 4K 120 hertz, I'm just like, dude, I'm not even interested in it at all.
It's just gonna come with graphics card territory. I mean, like next gen stuff, whatever we expect from Nvidia and AMD, those cards, whatever benchmarks those standards are going to determine whether or not 4K becomes a household resolution for gaming. So if like right now, like you go out and buy what's an I don't want to say average card, but what's one a lot of people buy? A 1060, right, or a 1070. Those cards are 1080p, 1440p, right? That's as high as I would feel. You could game in 4K on a 1070, but we're talking, medium settings usually. If you want to push them to high and ultra, where the picture actually looks good, then you're going to need something like a 1080 Ti. And in my opinion, 4K at medium settings is stupid to begin with. Like, why the heck would you want to enhance the resolution of a game that is like dumbed down from a graphical standpoint? Like, then you're just making those graphical settings look even worse because you're making them higher resolution. So to me, it's counterproductive. We would need more mainstream cards that are able to push out 4K at higher graphical settings. We don't have that.
Yeah, so we're at a bit of a loop at the moment.
Yeah, you got a SLI 1080 Ti. That's $1,200. That's a full-on PC right there, just for 2 graphics cards.
Really agree. That's it. Greg's got you down pat if you need
Oh,
to talk
yeah.
about your 4K needs.
You guys know. I love the way it looks, but it's just, to me, it's not worth it. From a gamer's perspective, it's not. Content creation, different story. Watching Netflix, different story, but not gaming.
Should anyone spend up to $1,200 for their sound system? Of course. I mean, it depends on what you are as an individual. Are you a sound, like, everyone's different, right? We're tuned. Like, I'm more of a visual guy, but I'm not, like, for me, a Logitech Z906 is all I need for sound. It's perfect. But I can appreciate that there's people out there who obviously their ears are better than mine, and they can go spend more on that. And that's their passion and hobby. I respect that. So yeah, of course, if you're into audio and that's your thing, go spend the money on it. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, audio
me,
is
I've got,
entirely objective. It's subjective.
Yeah. And same with visuals. Like, I prefer 1440p at the moment. It's sort of my sweet spot. I prefer it over 4K. I prefer the high refresh rates. I prefer the value. And so that's sort of where it's at for me. Although I edit on a 4K monitor, because that you don't need high refresh rates for that. It's sort of like you need the color accuracy in the real estate.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I think it's the same for me. Yeah, like I think the most I've ever spent on a sound system was like $600-700, and it wasn't like, it was good enough for me. Like, if I went to Best Buy and I listened to all the different sound systems, and I got right next to some of those things, and I was trying to tell some of them. I could tell a huge difference, right? Just the basic presets, connecting my phone to all of them, or as many as I could. When you stop hearing the difference, that's your ceiling, right? From your audio discerning standpoint. Some people can discern much higher than that, and they're the true audiophiles. I wouldn't consider myself an audiophile. I just think that I prefer better sounding speakers. Some people just don't care about it. I prefer better sound. So that's why I think it's worth spending the extra money. And same goes for resolution, like you were saying. Like, my sweet spot's 1440p, 120, 144 hertz. I'm using a 1080p monitor right now in front of me, and I can tell the difference. From 2 feet, I can see the difference between 1440p and 1080 at 24
we got asked two questions that tie in with each other. Do you agree with UFD Tech that now is a bad time to build a PC, and 1080 Ti for 600 now, or wait for 1180? I think it's a great time to buy everything but the graphics card. So go look for them deals. Remember, I'm contrarian, though. By nature, I love doing what other people aren't. If no one's buying a PC now, you should be buying at least the parts that are cheap. Go get your case. Go get your motherboard. Go get your CPU. Go get all that stuff cheap. And then when the graphics cards drop, then buy the graphics card. And they will. So don't even buy. That's what I mean. Don't buy the 1080 Ti now. Wait for the 1180, because that's going to come around the same time that the storm's going to happen. And when the storm happens, you're going to get your cheap graphics card. That's just my opinion. So yeah, go buy the components that are cheap at the moment. So I think it's a good time to build a partial PC, for new PCs anyway. Always a good time to build a used PC. You just got to get the deals. Oh man, I really got to go to the loo too.
Let's do this.
Really got to go to the loo.
Let's end on this one here. Greg and Brian, please suggest your favorite ever socket or platform, and then argue why yours is better than the other.
Okay.
So your favorite socket.
X58.
Okay, I feel like whatever I say is we're gonna be on two totally different worlds here, because I don't usually dabble in older stuff.
Okay. We can hold this off till next time as well. So I don't know. I gotta go to the loo, bro. Like, like really bad.
On Brian's cue. All right, we'll remember that one for next time. I'll have to think of something clever.
We'll save it.
Because I feel like just saying like something modern is a little lame. Because I understand why you say X58. All right, we're gonna end it so Brian can go pee. And we'll be back next week for the good stuff, folks. Thanks for watching early this morning or late at night, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to end the stream right now. See you guys.